Okay, we're learning the Sikha of Simchas Torah Tafshin Mem Vav Seif Ches. The Teichen of this Sikha is the Rebbe proclaiming to every single individual living in this generation that you are a shliach. A shliach means that Moshiach is the purpose why you were created in this world, to bring down the Shekhinah into this world when Mashiach comes, through Mashiach. And your existence is shliach plus your 10 kaiches and nefesh. Shliach means that a person is the Eibishter's messenger in the world, and even more so, the shliach of the Nasi Hader, which is the Mashiach Shebeder, to make it happen. How? By using your 10 kaiches and nefesh. What else did we learn in the Sikha? The Rebbe spoke about the fact that just like Mashiach is the Yechidah Shebenefesh, and that's the Yechidah HaKlalis of every Yid, and the Rebbe added another very powerful point, it is the Yechidah HaKlalis of the existence of every single thing in the world as well. Every single Yid has a Yechidah Shebenefesh in him, and when he reveals his own Yechidah Shebenefesh, that's how you collectively, all Yidden, will bring the revelation of Mashiach, which is Yechidah HaKlalis. Okay, so let's begin again. Sivches. Here the Rebbe brings it down into details, but Payal Mamish, what is it that we have to do? In every place a person goes, whoever he meets, every interaction, you have to be focused. You have to remember your identity and who you are. Und das ist the Shlichus, was is Muttel of jeden Yidden. This mission is something that lies upon every single Jew. And the Rebbe, as you see here, emphasizes jeden Yidden. A person should not say, well, I have a different Shlichus. My Shlichus is to, I don't know. No, you don't know. You're part of this generation. And the Nasi Hader, the Rebbe, is telling you what the mission of our generation is. So there's nobody that's excluded of that. And that is to verspreiten Elokus Ba'olam, to publicize Hashem in the world. Bizavet bring it to the Gilui, the Lasad Lavai, and then collectively we bring the revelation when Mashiach comes, HaGilui Fon v'Niglik V'Davai V'Rokal Basi Yachtav. The revelation of seeing the Eibishter, and every flesh will see this. And this is the famous pshat, the pasuk that says, "Me Hashem mitzadik geva keinana." Every step you take, wherever you find yourself on a daily basis, every trip you take, wherever you go, it's all steps that are planned out by Hashem. As a yid kumt in an art, is it tzliba kavana? You arrive in a location, and it's not that you decided that I want to go on vacation there, or I just want to buy food or whatever. No, you're there because Eibishter brought you there. Tan a mitzvah v'chulu, whether there's an opportunity to do a mitzvah there. A Yid is a shliach shel Maila. A Yid is a shliach from Hashem. A shliach, whoever is the koyach HaMashiach. And therefore, wherever you are, you're not alone, and you're not an individual for yourself that's there for your own personal interest. You have the power of the Mashaleach, and you have the ability to accomplish great things wherever you are in the world. Wherever you go, it's in order to bring Hashem's name there. As a Yid gate in an art, a Yid comes to a place. Is this nit was gate? It's not he that is choosing to go here. No, what's really happening is Hashem is holding him by his hand and taking him to this place. The Ashgacha al Yaina. It's the Ashgacha of Hashem on the Shlichus is. What is the shlichus of him being there? L'shak nishmai shalom, l'farsim l'kus ba'olam, to publicize Hashem's name in the world. Euch in an Ort, was wird angerufen Sham. Oh, you remember we spoke about this last week. Even when you come to a location that seems to be impossible, this place, I'm going to start speaking about Hashem's name. Do you see what's going on here? Do you see how liberal people are, or whatever other situation it may be? Yeah, Sham, in that place as well. Was weiß if Makam of Klippus. Even in a place like Klippa, come over, look at the Torah as the Rebbe says. And where does this all begin? And we says, "Gewen bepoil the Avodah von dem ersten Yidden." This is how it all began with the very first Jew. Similar to what the Rebbe said in the Maim of Basi Lagani, that our generation is the Torah Shvi, and it's the Shvi L'Rishon, Shvi of the Alter Rebbe. In other words, the way it is going to end, the same type of Avodah that will end this Golus, that's how it all began. There's many, many steps and stages in the process in between. But if you look at the end and you look at the beginning, it starts and ends the same way. Avram Avinu v'Rashi bringt, as Avram had gesagt, "Kishlekachani v'beis avi," when Hashem took me from my father's house in Charan, Hoya Elokei Shemayim v'lo Elokei Aretz. Hashem's name was known in the spiritual worlds. but in the physical world below, he wasn't known. The name of Hashem was not known and was not accustomed in the mouths of people here in the world. Und danach is hergaltiv b'fi abrius. Now the name of Hashem became a regular thing of people to speak about. Und is geworden Elokei Hashemayim v'Elokei Haaretz. Hashem became known in the heavens and in the earth below. And there's another place where the Rebbe speaks about this Rashi, and the one word that the Rebbe points out in this Rashi is the word hergaltiv. Hergaltiv. Which means people knew about Hashem's existence, but there wasn't a hergel. They didn't live by it. It wasn't part of their lifestyle to speak about Hashem and attribute things that happens in their life to Hashem. The hergaltiv. Avraham Avinu made that something which is part of the habit of people. Bis Avram's Pole Bailam is given by from Vayikra Sham B'Shem Avaya Keilaylam. Avram calls out Hashem's name, and here Chassidus says the famous diak. What does Avram do? He says Keilaylam. Chazal sagen Al Tikra Vayikri Elo Vayakri. That when the pasuk says Vayikra, it doesn't only mean that he called out Hashem's name. He proclaimed Hashem's name, but Vayakri. What does this mean? Melamed Shehikri Avram Avinu L'Shmoish LaKadosh Baruch Hu B'Pek Kol Oive V'Shavchulu. All passers-by, Avram Avinu had them call out Hashem's name. Vayakri means he influenced them, that they should speak about Hashem. He wasn't only speaking about Hashem, but he did it in a public place that he caused others to speak about Hashem.
Is it similar to what Hashem Hashem?
Exactly. Went around from village to village and had asked people if he gave this in Parnasa and so on, and he said, give the Eibishter Zayin Parnasa and say Baruch Hashem. That's what Avram Avinu did as well. He taught people how to call out and to recognize Hashem. Was das meint? Chassidus is mevayer barucha. Here, this is the diak that's explained in Chassidus at length. Nit nor keil ha'olam. It doesn't say in the pasuk that the God of the world. Nor keil olam as lekus mit welt is ein zach kaviyachol. Hashem in the world is one thing literally. This is the dict, and then Ayin Beis, the Rebbe Rashab speaks about this Barichas and in other places that you can speak about Hashem's existence on a level that the world is also in existence. It's not the real Einoid Milvade. Real Einoid Milvade says that there's nothing other than Him. When you speak about Atzmos Mamish, there's no place for any other existence other than Hashem. And it's that level that Avraham Avinu taught people about. So it's not only that he taught, so there's 3 points here. If you take a look at what the Rebbe is saying here in this paragraph. Number one, Avraham Avinu publicized Hashem's name. Number two, to what degree hirgaltiv, it became something which was a habit to speak about Hashem. And number three, what level of Hashem? Not a level of Hashem which is tzimtzum, say the rishtal shalos. No. The essence of the Eibishter, where there on that level, Avraham Avinu brought the recognition to people that there's no welt, there's nothing. It's all Einad Mulvade Mamish. This is what Avraham Avinu did. Was und dann besteht die Schlichus von jeden, als soll auftauen, dem Vayakri Sham B'Shem Hashem Kei Loilam. Meifit seine Lekus Bailam. Publicizing Hashem's name in every place in the world, as Kol Boy Olam sollen wissen, as Meloi Chalaretz Kavayde. Everyone should know that Hashem's glory fills every place in the world. Was B'Shas Mefir Tais the Miyim B'Payel. When you accomplish this and you do this in actuality, brengt us bias and Moshiach bepashtas. That's the only way a Moshiach comes. There's no other shortcuts. I mean, this is the guarantee. And if everyone does their part, and the people that they meet, they make sure that everyone knows that there's a Eibush there, and to this extent, the Moshiach comes. This is Jews and non-Jews alike. Everybody in the world. Und v'hoysel Hashem HaMelucha, das heißt, es wird sein begolid der Ihnen vom Leuchel Aretz Kavodai zwischen ba kol boy olam, amongst and by all of people in the world, not only regarding Yidden. This is the shlichus. Yeah. So notice here, this is the approach the Rebbe has here in the Sikha. The Rebbe doesn't talk about how you have to work on this with yourself. Maybe how about the step before everything the Rebbe is saying here? The Rebbe is appointing every Yid and saying, we're all shluchim of Hashem to bring the Eibishter's name into the world. How about if I myself don't yet have that level of recognition of the name of Hashem? The Rebbe doesn't even address that. In the Maimer of Basi Lagani, when the Rebbe brought this Maimer Chazal, Vayikra, Al Tikra, Vayikra, Elo Vayakri, you know what the Rebbe said then? The first Maimer, Basi Lagani. The Rebbe said, if you want that the Vayikra for yourself should be effective, the only way it'll be effective for yourself is if you're going to influence someone else. If you're going to try to be busy with convincing yourself and working on your own understanding and recognition to live by Shem Hashem Keleilam, it's not going to permeate. It's not going to go pnimius. If you want to be successful in the Vayikra, you have to do the Vayakri. This is B'chlal the Pshat. Whenever Chazal say Al Tikra Vayikra Ela Vayakri, what does that mean? The pasuk says Vayikra and Chazal say Vayakri. They're switching what it says in the pasuk. Every time it says Al Tikra, it always means, it ever brings this from the Klali Hashas, that it always means that there is the what it says. But what Chazal are telling you is the only way to fulfill what it says is if you'll pronounce it like we say, then you'll actually fulfill the Pshutei Shomikra, what it says. When it says Al Tikra Vayikra Ela Vayakri, what it's saying is you want to be successful with the Vayikra for yourself, then convince another person, influence somebody else, and then it's going to penetrate your own existence as well. So here the Rebbe is just talking about what you have to do for someone else. Today's Yud Kislev, the Chag Agul of the Mittler Rebbe. The Rebbe was said by Fabrengen once that the Mittler Rebbe said that his wish is that if two Chassidim meet, what should the topic of conversation be about? Yechudi Ilah, Yechudi Tata, Keser, Atik, Arech. That should be the topic of conversation. Not Mamdani, not Shmamdani. The topic of the conversation should be Yechudi Ilah, Yechudi Tata. So the Rebbe of Fabrengen once said that, remember the exact way how the Rebbe expressed this, but the point that the Rebbe said is that now in our generation, the Nasi Adair wants that when two Yidden meet, what should their topic of conversation be? How could we help a third Yid? How could these two influence and help another person? That's even greater than discussing Yichudi Ilah, Yichudi Tata. They're discussing their own level of understanding and commitment and Avedas Hashem. But the two meet, and their whole inyan should be to help a third Yid. That's what I was talking about it, and that's the tafkid of every single person in our generation. Okay, let's continue inside. The Kairos Nesidereino. This is the instruction of the Nasi of our day. As metavzain nedis lahoir. Every person has to be a lamplighter. Zu beleuchten die Welt mit dem Eur ve'esh von dem Nitzitz Yechide shebecholechad vechad. To illuminate the light and the fire of the spark of Yechide, the level of Yechide that everybody has. You could do this in two ways. One way is that you really stay in your own space. You're not going out. You're not going out to find where the other person is. You stay in your own space. However, similar to what it says by the Beis HaMikdash, that the light emanated because the windows were narrow on the inside, wide on the outside, so the light would come out and illuminate the entire world. But it's not. We're not talking about going out to that space outside. So the Rebbe says that's not enough. That was enough. In the time of Shlomo Melech, it said that his light was so intense that Malka Shuvah came to him. Or like it says before that, the Rebbe says, when he get to Yitzchak, Yitzchak was living in Be'er Sheva, and he was so powerful, his kedusha, his wealth, his might, his greatness was so great. Avimelech comes to him. But over here, though, the Aved that's demanded now is nor adav bepashtus a weggehen von seine eigene Daldamas. Go away from your own space. Und reisgehen im Welt. You go out and you meet people outside. Und dorten verspreiten Yiddishkeit in Elokos. And there, publicize Yiddishkeit in David's name. Was the Teicherin is mefurish medrash. This is exactly what it says in the medrash as echad mikem goylel barbaria, ve'echad mikem goylel samatya. One of you will be in Golis in a far away location called Barbaria. And another one in Sarmatia. Samtaria, actually. Sounds like you read it. Samtaria. Kumavor bekam mekaimis, as it's explained in many places, as the kavon is, bichdei dorten mekaims and the shlichis, von afotzes ayadis, and birur anitzaitzis. You look at this medrash, it seems like it's a curse. The Yidden are dispersed. And they so far, and far-flung places, and they're separated from one another. But no, it's actually a blessing. This is the kavana. In that place, I'm not sure why the words echad is highlighted. See what I mean? Echad. Echad mikem goyle barbaya and echad. I don't know what's the echad. Twice echad. For some reason it's highlighted. Maybe it's trying to point out that even if you're totally alone, you just how powerful even one person can be. You could be that one shliach or that one Jew that's flying somewhere, you're even on a business trip, wherever, but you're the only Jew in the whole entire plane or the whole entire crowd. You're that one person there that has that kayach to be connected to the Mishaleach and share Yiddishkeit and share the truth and bring the Eibish's name there, wherever you, echad, just one. In our generation is this kail miyuchad that means from afat samayanas chutza. This all includes and especially also spreading chassidus, the well springs of chassidus as well. Wie was das der klaus in von gili pnimi satira, spreading the pnimi satira, hat sich angegeben bechlalos in dem Zman, was mis is geworden mitzvah legalois zei sachachma. When the Arizal said there came a certain generation, now it's a mitzvah to reveal the chachma of Kabbalah. Nachmer, then even more so later on, Bizman Baal Shem Tov, when it's geworden der Inyan von Yafutza, meine Secha Chutza. From the Baal Shem Tov begins a time where Moshiach tells Baal Shem Tov, you have to spread your wellsprings outward, Nachmal de Adma, Zaken Befrat, La'achrei, Peterburg, especially after Yutas Kislev, when the Alter Rebbe was released from prison in Peterburg. Bizman, Nisid Dereinu. And then you take all of that, and now in our generation, in the 7th generation from the Alter Rebbe, this Inyan is intensified many times more. Was gesagt that he made it clear as the shlichus von jeder Yidin, the shlichus of every single Jew alive today, is to meifit sein, the mayanus, chutza, kipshutai, to spread the wellsprings of Chassidus in the lowest place, chutza, shein chutza mimeno. There's no limitations to this. Biz shivim loshen, to teach and disseminate the words of Chassidus in 70 languages. On that gesagt, as zu dafna vegem im kaimai, you should be ready to go out of your place, kailul mimadrigasai, to go down from your level. That sometimes is even harder than going out of your place. It's one thing to go out of your place, but if you have to be ready to go down from your level of comfort and to teach and to talk to someone that you don't relate to. On a race game, Medinas, and go to every country, in every place in the world, that it's possible to reach there. And to spread Yiddishkeit and Chassidus in these places. Durch them was misnedes lahoyer. And by being lamplighters, by revealing the spark of Hashem that exists within the heart of every Yid, bringt man den bitteler Galus. This nullifies Galus. Warum der Nitzutz Kotten shel Moshiach shebekol echad ve'echad. The small spark of Mashiach that every Yid has, hat bekoyach zu anzünden die Vent von Galus, has the power to ignite and burn down the walls of Galus. This is the famous expression of the Friedrich Rebbe that he said and wrote during the Holocaust, during the Second World War. He used this expression that we have to burn down the walls of Galus. This is a mashal, just like it is in the mashal of fire. In Anitzutzesh Kipshuta, you have a tiny spark of fire. It's not coals where the fire is out. Not a lebedige fire, a fire that's alive and burning. Like it is with one tiny spark. As b'shas mirirtes zu, you touch this spark or you fan the flames of one spark. So now you take that spark and put it on thorns or on flammable material. What happens? On the bayis talk in davra minea, if you don't have water or anything else that is going to prevent the fire from spreading, zint is on the alle kaitzum und sie werden im ganzen verbrennt. It'll ignite all of the thorns, and it'll all be consumed. It'll all be burnt. So here you see the concept of the nitzutz is not only to turn on the neshama of a yid in his connection to Hashem, but when you turn on the neshama of a yid, what happens is many walls. You could talk about the wall of Galus in general, but also the walls that a person has put up in his own life, certain barriers that a person has, that if you turn on that nitzutz of his neshama, it'll burn down the barriers of Galus that he has personally in his life. So, and therefore the same applies here in the Nimshal by lighting the flame of fire that exists in the heart of every Yid. The nitzutz shel Mashiach, that one tiny spark of Mashiach, shebekol echad ve'echad, tzint on the kaitzim from Galus. This ignites the thorns of suffering that Galus is. Kiseitze eish, like the Lashon of the Pasuk, it says, a fire that's lit, umatza kaitzim gaimer, and it catches on fire with the kaitzim. Kumavur in Zayar, and it says in Zayar about this, as kivin de izgalu Yisrael, when Yidden were exiled, mischarev makdisha, and the Beis HaMikdash was burnt, was destroyed with a fire. Is HaKadosh Baruch Hu notel kubin v'darderin. Hashem took thorns and thistles, kaitzim, v'shavit chusei. And he placed it below himself, meaning Kavayachol, the Eibishter says that I'm going to be sitting on thorns that are going to prick me, that are going to bring me suffering. In other words, Hashem says, I'm going off my throne of glory, and I'm going to be on these thorns to be suffering together with the Yidden in the time of Galus. That's the expression of the Zohar. Und die Kaitzim sind meik es Hashchina. And these thorns that Hashem sits on, Kaviyachol, so they bring a suffering to the Shechina, and that's the term that the Zohar says, Shechinte begalusa, that when Yidden suffer in Galus, the Shechina suffers in Galus together with Yidden. So here we see that when the Rebbe here says this expression, that you take one spark of fire and you light this, the kaitzim. The Rebbe is not just using a analogy, stamasai. It's actually what it says in the Zohar in the description of what Galus is about. That Kaviyachol, it's kaitzim that the Shechina is suffering in. Aber durch dem was is da der kiseitze eish, but if you light a fire mit simton die kaitzim mit an nitzes eish, you light it with one spark of fire, der nitzes kotten shom Mashiach beginnes yichida, the spark of Mashiach that exists in a yid, und jeder yid tut es b'makom shlichusay. Every yid in his space of the world, b'chol makom u'makom sheba'olam, in every place of the world. Zintes on the Galus vent, this will eventually ignite all of the walls of Galus, bis es das verbrennt sie im Ganzen. It burns down the walls of Galus, and demult vert b'derech memel and is gala Mashiach. And then automatically this reveals Mashiach b'chines yichida klalis. Was noch fardem, even before Mashiach is revealed, hine ze oimid achar kasleinu. Mashiach stands behind the wall of Galus. Mashgiach manachaloines. He's already looking through the windows, meitzitz manacharakim, and peeking through the cracks of the walls of Galus. This is the Kolkaida. This is the expression the Friedrich Rebbe said in the year Tafshin Aleph, Sivin Tafshin Aleph, when he put out the Nakriya Vakdusha in the time of the Second World War. Yeah. So we've long past that time, and it's long overdue. But here you see the Rebbe's plan of bringing Mashiach. The Rebbe has a plan, and he's asking us to join him. That we're going to conquer the entire world. This is the ultimate and greatest and most broadest vision possible, to spread out into the entire world and to bring the Eibishter into every space, and everyone will do their part to publicize Hashem's name. And b'derech memela, this is going to burn down the walls of Galus. Und da sind nicht kein Inyanim nor from Zohar Kabbalah. We're not talking over here things in some kind of a spiritual realm of existence in Zohar Kabbalah. Don't take this as some kind of, it's good for the books, it's good for, thing. This is B'Payel Mamish. Nomereta, Poshetin Yonim. These are simple matters. This is the simple Aveda of every Yid. Every day, you walk out of your house, wherever you go to a doctor, you go here, you go there. There's always an opportunity you have. You bring it film with you, or you can speak to someone, you meet someone, Shavim Mitzvahs B'nai Nayach, whatever it may be. Wherever you are, you're focused. You have that shlichus. As every person should do his shlichus in the space that he's in sein Medina v'chulu, in his country, and dort sein neres lahoy, to be that lamplighter durch Megala sein der Nitzitz Kotten Yechidah Shaloi. You have to reveal your own spark of Mashiach to make this happen. Und das ausnutzen, and then to utilize this, bechdem wir wahre sein und Megala sein, den Nitzeitze Kedusha, was gefunden sich dort. You reveal the holy sparks in that space. Bis das durch dem Zinter on, you ignite und verbrennt, and you burn down the Galus vent, the walls of Galus. Und is Megala Mashiach and Valach steht. And then you reveal the fact that Mashiach is just standing right there. He's already standing there, ready to come, but there's just a barrier that's not allowing him to pass through. There's already a crack in the wall. There's windows. He's looking. And as soon as you burn down the wall of Galus, he's standing right there. He's ready to come and take us out of Galus, take it from the Yad Mamish. Yeah. Okay. Take it from a Yad Mamish. Yeah, Shalom Aleichem. What is your name?